All right. For those of you that are joining us via video, welcome. We have a couple activities here tonight. I'm going to start out with some announcements, and then Keena and I are going to each tell a little bit about ourselves. Um, I know that most of you are wondering what to register for because you get emails from Scott Davis, our wonderful administrative assistant or academic, I forgot his title, academic, I think it's
Mr. Do All, Be All, and Save Our Backsides. But
so
that's too much for a job title.
So the way that registration works, and this will affect you next year, is that summer and fall registration open at the same time. So you're getting emails that really have been related to both of those, but your new students that are just coming in. So for registration in the fall, we're going to handle things for you a little bit different. So there'll be a specific email that goes out that tells you what exactly to register for. So I'm not going to talk about specifics about that tonight. I can tell you that in the first semester, you take one of your core courses. We call it Inquiry 1. Sometimes we call it Research 1. It has kind of a long title, but it's your first core course in the program, and everybody takes that. So you'll be in that together, and I'm the instructor for that course. And then the second course that you take, if you're, and most students take 6 credits a semester. There are options, as you probably remember me saying, where you can take semesters where you only do one or you don't do any courses at all. If something comes up, we try to be really flexible with you all. But that second course will be either an elective or your area of specialization. And in the orientation, that's where you'll kind of decide for sure what you're going to do, and then you'll have a program plan that will kind of map things out. If in the meantime it helps you to have an example, I can send you an example program plan, but we're still kind of working on the sequence of courses. So one of the things that we do in our program is that for continual improvement, where we don't do every cohort exactly the same. We don't make huge changes, but you're coming in at a time where we've just done a program evaluation, a partial program evaluation that led to some changes in the sequence of courses and the content of some of the courses. So we're still working yours out a little bit. So we'll have that in plenty of time for the orientation so that you can see exactly what will happen for you specifically. But if you want an example, just reach out. I can send you the previous cohorts. Just know that it won't be exactly like that. So the program plans go along with your area specialization. So all of you that are in this one program like area will kind of do things the same way, and then folks in other, and then there's opportunities to change things around and pick electives and get eclectic and kind of we encourage you not to do too much of that because frankly it's a headache for me, but but there is the possibility for you to kind of create a little bit of what you want. So like I know, for example, sometimes folks come in and say, well, I already have this early childhood certification and this particular thing, and I don't want to do more of that, but I would like to take this one class. So we try to work with you to accommodate that you get access to the classes that you want. And the things that most of our people want, we have everybody take. So for example, the professional development class that comes a little later in the sequence, almost all of our students want that. So even though it's not a core course, we offer it at a time where almost all of you, if not all of you, can participate in that course because we know that's a big, I don't know how to say, it's a big, I was a big ticket item. Like that's the thing y'all want. So we make sure to kind of accommodate you all in those things. So a lot of courses you'll be in together, and then you'll have some courses where you'll be with other just random people that are in other programs, and which is fine. So you'll get to know other folks in those spaces too. But then you guys will always be together in at least one course. Every semester there's a core course where you guys are all together. So yeah, I know you want to know about all those things, but you'll have to wait a little bit longer. And I promise we'll get that to you in a timely way. And you'll have at least a month to be able to prepare in terms of purchasing textbooks and whatnot. Generally, we use textbooks that you can get on Amazon and get pretty easily and pretty quickly, unless you're out of the country. I'm trying to remember if anybody from this group is out of the country. Anybody no one on the call right now is out of the country. I'll have to go back and see. I don't think we have any international students this time around, Kina. We'll go back and check. So
I
anyway,
don't remember either.
yeah, I don't think so. So again, these are things that I know are definitely on your mind, but then we're going to switch gears now because I really want us to focus just on getting to know each other a little better tonight. If you have questions, I can stick around for a few minutes. So after the video goes off, if you have like pressing questions that you're dying to get answers to and that you're not going to get tonight, I can stay on for a little while for those of you that want to stay behind and do that. So. All right, so we'll start with me. You know a little bit about me, maybe from the website or maybe from the interviews, but my name's Christy. I don't ask doctoral students to call me Dr. Cheyney-Collante for undergrads. I have them call me doctor, but for you all, I don't. I feel comfortable with you all calling me by my first name. You do not need to call me Dr. Christy, by the way. That doesn't change anything. Just call me Christy. Do not need the Dr. Christy. So this is because in the doctoral program, we're enculturating you into this space and as colleagues, right? So it's not that we're not mentors and instructors and have a certain degree of supervisory over you. Obviously, that's why you come to us to get some information, to get some knowledge, and we're here to help you gain that knowledge that you want and the skills that you want. But we think of you as our colleagues, and we're trying to grow you into those colleagues. So for us, it makes so I don't call Kina Dr. Cornelius when we're hanging out or talking in the hallway. We call each other by the first name. So that's what we feel comfortable with here and within our program. If you're taking classes with instructors outside of our program, by the way, it's always good to ask just to be sure, because some people want to be a little more formal, but we keep it pretty informal here. So you'll learn more about me through the course of the program in terms of my background. And so I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of that today, but just to say that my background originally was in music. My bachelor's degree was in music and actually opera. I was a classical vocal performance major in my undergrad, but I knew like my senior year that I didn't want to do that because I was working part-time in a school. And I thought, oh my God, I missed my calling. I want to do this. It was too late for me to change my major. So my parents were really excited when I told them that I was going to do something that actually would get me a paycheck. And I switched gears and went into teaching and kind of never looked back. So my years in the classroom, I taught preschool um, and kindergarten. And I taught music for several years in the middle there, including middle and high school. So I kind of ran the gambit in terms of ages and content. I really just I liked at the time really being in schools, working with kids. And eventually I felt like I wanted to learn more. So I went back to school for my master's degree in curriculum instruction. And then I got my doctoral degree in special education. And what prompted that was that as a music teacher, I taught in a school for kids with autism. And so I did a lot of on the job learning about how to navigate that space instead of having preparation and how to navigate that space because they don't really care generally if the music teacher has that background in teaching. So I felt like I needed more. So went back to school to get all of the extra degrees. Along the way, learned a lot about research and decided I really liked that and enjoyed that. So I have a fairly active research line that I pursue when I'm not doing all of this kind of stuff. But the best part of my week is definitely teaching and certainly mentoring doctoral students, hands down the best part of my job. So this space where we get to be together in the semesters where I'm teaching in the program are probably my happiest because those are the times where I know I'm going to get to see you all regularly. And the thing that I love the most about this program and these spaces is just watching you all on all of these different contexts, doing all of this amazing work that you do and taking what you're learning in the program and like applying it in so many different settings because it's not just in the school that's here in my backyard where I'm supervising teachers, that you're all over the country and in many cases outside of the country. And so that's a little bit about me. You know that I wear a couple of different hats probably by looking at my email. So I'm an assistant director at UFLI, the University of Florida Literacy Institute, and I'm the grad coordinator. Sometimes you'll have meetings with me and I'll have my grad coordinator hat on, like when it comes to graduation and those kinds of things. And so lots of different kind of roles, but the one that's most relevant to you is that occasionally I get to teach classes for you guys. And that's, like I say, definitely hands down my favorite part of my involvement with you. Kina and I will both keep on top of what you should be doing over time. So that's the other role, just kind of trying to keep everybody on track, and we both do that. So now I'm going to introduce to you Kina Cornelius. She'll recognize her as one of the committee members, and she is the faculty that is assigned to support this program, and so we appreciate her on so many levels. She's my partner in crime, as we say, but also she brings in incredible expertise in the special education space, particularly around, she'll tell you about some things, particularly around high leverage practices. She has a great book that I can recommend if you're interested. And so we're just always really lucky to have her and be a part of all of this. So that's my little introduction of you, because I know you will be super modest to not mention any of that.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I don't need to say anything now. No. Um, I am so excited to be here because, like Christy, we're not only partners in crime, there are things that we just share a brain on. And to say that this is my favorite part of my job sounds like I'm just copying Christy, but it's not. Um, I just love being in this space and hearing new ideas. My when you're on a research track in a university, people will ask you, what is your research agenda? Well, Christy and I are teaching faculty. We are clinical, and so we don't really have a research agenda, even though we have areas of research that we are involved in. But I have a professional focus. And my focus is to elevate the profession. And that's why I love being here with you guys because you're elevating the profession from within. You're in schools, you're with school districts, you may work for a private tutoring company. You could do anything within this field of education that goes beyond that traditional classroom teacher. Some of you may be classroom teachers. We just have that full gambit, and I love that. It shows the vastness of what we do. I came to this field in a very unnatural way. My background, my undergrad, I was a family and community studies major, which really means that I was a pre-social work. And so I was going to go into social work. Um, but didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go straight from my bachelor's to my master's, and I wanted to take a break, and I was getting married and all of that. Well, I never got back to my master's in social work, but I did do some work in group homes and things like that and realized maybe not. But once my kids came along, I was happy doing all kinds of things with them. My husband was in the military, so I was involved with all kinds of things, family readiness things, getting, family support activities on the base. Um, but we got a puppy, and that puppy got parvo. And if any of you have pets, parvo is one of the most expensive things you can give a pup. I mean, it's could kill them. But anyway, so I had a very, very high vet bill that I had to pay, or a credit card I needed to pay down. And a good friend of mine said, "Why don't you come to the school? We need substitute teachers." Okay, I'll be a substitute teacher. And so I started subbing, and they put me in I was offered a long-term sub position in a special ed classroom. I had been subbing for a while, and I thought, oh, I just don't, I can't do this. Well, my friend who talked me into it said, yes, you can, and that's okay because I'm in the classroom next door. We'll be fine. And sure enough, I loved it. And within like my second week, I was enrolling in a teacher prep master's program. So, and I have never looked back. And I learned through that experience that people always say special educators are so patient. Nope, meet me, not patient, but I am persistent, right? That's what I tell everybody. Special ed teachers aren't necessarily patient, but they are persistent. So that's my background to where I came. Being a military wife, I have taught. I taught for 12 years in public school, taught at every grade level because when you move, you take the job that's open, and I had a K-12 license. So I moved a lot, a lot. I have taught in 4 states and internationally. Um, and so I have that full, but all of my teaching experience is in the high incidence, mild, moderate, learning disabilities, inclusion. And so that kept me going in collaboration and inclusive practices, which led me to the high leverage practices. And I'm on, part of my job is I'm assigned to staff with the Cedar Center. If you're familiar with their work, they do work with teacher and leader preparation and teacher development. And so I do a lot of professional development, and that keeps my hands in schools, and I love that. But yes, so my whole dedication to this field now is how can we elevate the profession, and we do it through quality practices, and we do it through rigorous research that we bring into classrooms. So that's my joy, and that's why I love watching you grow because you get to do all of the things I talk about.
That's a really good way to say it. They do, don't they? So,
Yeah,
by the way, this is, I feel like every cohort just gets better and better. But I just like feel like this is such a great group. I'm so excited to have you all here. You're gonna really love to get to know each other too. So if you look in the chat, we have a Google Doc. We can't use Jamboard anymore, unfortunately. I don't know why they did away with Jamboard because that was my I
your GM. Sorry.
Jamboard was my jam, you guys.
Sorry, couldn't resist. I'm punny. Sorry. Going to go with it.
And I know that there's alternatives, but I haven't really found my new jam yet. So anyway, we're going to use simple Google Doc today. But I want you to do is just take a couple minutes, and I'm going to share screen in just a moment. But start adding your name. So there's a column for your name and your current role, whatever you're currently doing. You can put more than what we did, like you already know from where you F, and we just did that long introduction, so we didn't put a lot in there. But in that third column, it's your why or the impact that you're hoping to have as a result of being in the program. And then if you feel comfortable and you want to, you can share an image in the back. You just go to insert, and one of the options under insert is a place where you can share. So I'm going to share screen while you're doing that so we can kind of watch.
So I did go ahead and put in it. Like Christy said, we're training you to be our colleagues. We are indoctrinating you into the profession. No, I'm joking. It is not. We are
Stick
fully.
that in chest. This is being video recorded, Dr.
I know. I didn't mean it that way, but it feels like it. It's not. It's not. We are truly building a culture that has you as soon to be our colleagues. And so therefore I get very uncomfortable when you start calling me Dr. Cornelius. But if you were an undergrad, I would like Christy said, insist on it. But you're not undergrads. You're not even master's level. So it is pronounced Kina, and that's why I put the pronunciation. The Y, I swear my mother just wanted to confuse everybody.
Yeah, it does come up a lot. People say funny things. We're not sure, but all right. So I'm sharing here, but of course you guys can scroll down and all of that. And if you're going to share a photograph, you go up here to insert and then image, and they'll let you upload it from the computer or one of these other options. Of course, we can see you on the screen too. There's Neil. I think in our Remind Me, Kina, when we do orientation, I feel like we should share fur babies in some way too.
Yes. Okay, can you put the link in there again, Christy?
Yes. Sorry about that. I did say, I think is it Pearl? Did I see Pearl come?
Mhm.
Hi, Pearl.
Hi, thank you. I just had to move to my computer.
No problem. Sorry, it's taking me a minute. Why isn't it letting me go?
Do you want me to grab it?
Yeah, oh, here it is.
Okay.
I don't know what I just did. Does that one work? It looks like there's something weird in there.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that works. Okay, good.
Wow. I love watching all this. You're muted, Christy.
You'd think I'd have a handle of Zoom at this point. Anywho, you can continue to add more and to read each other's posts in there, and this will stay open, and we'll keep it open for those of you who are watching the video so we can add stuff, and then we'll come back to this when we do the orientation. The next thing I have on the agenda for tonight is that I'm gonna have Zoom put you randomly in groups.